Hi, it's Tim Hagan from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode for the Coaching Conversations podcast. Now, we are on Stitcher, we are on iTunes, and multiple different channels. Please check us out. Now, one of the things that you'll get out of our podcast episodes is a lot of content, a lot of strategy. It's not fluff, it's not concept, yet we really want you to engage with the content and let us know your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If there's topics you'd love to have us address, we would love to share them with you. Let us know your impact and let us know your feedback.
For years, we've talked in the workplace about leaders coaching, and one of the most fundamental questions we get is, how do you get leaders to coach? You know, they say they don't have time. The real reason people don't coach is they don't know what to say or do. So when you think about a speech or learning a foreign language, what do you have to do? You have to learn it, you have to practice it, you have to apply it. It's pretty simple. And recently, we started to create a tool that actually measures coaching conversation skills. And we're actually calling it Coaching PAL. PAL stands for Practice, Application, and Learning. Practice it, apply it, and what did you learn? It's as simple as that. And when we think about practice, you know, often we've had people say, well, Tim, we're doing the same thing over and over again. We got to do something different. I'm like, look, if you want to get better at shooting free throws in basketball, and it takes you 500 shots, and it can get boring after 100 shots, and you want to switch to hook shots, would you be better at shooting free throws? If you want to give a keynote speech, and you know it's going to be an hour long, but you know what? You just want to focus on short stories, which are only 10 minutes. Would you be better at giving keynote speeches? See, improvement requires a couple things: repetitive practice, application to the real world, and reflection to develop learning. That's why we call it PAL. When we think about practice, and I love Angela Duckworth's book, Grit. She talks about practice, and I just love her book because the fact of the matter is, if you don't practice something, you don't get better at it. Now, I'm going to make a comment that typically at first will rub some people the wrong way, especially in the training industry. Training solely is not the answer. The answer lies in the application. That's why the official name of our company, a lot of people don't know this, is Training Reinforcement Partners. It's building that bridge between the training and the learning to the real world where application needs to occur. Let me give you the most fundamental example. You know, I no longer take business like this. But when I get a call from a sales organization, oh, we're looking for a speaker, I ask one question in that conversation, and it determines if I want to do the project. I said, how often are your people practicing? Well, what does that have to do with the event? I said, a lot. If your people aren't practicing and you want me to come in and do a speech or do a program and have people role play and practice, they are going to hate me and they're going to hate you for bringing me. I don't want to be a part of it. If you don't have that in your culture or are not willing to put it in your culture, I'm not interested. Now, let me tell you why. You know, I've dealt with a lot of different people, and I would say 98.5% of the time, we typically deal with the nicest people in the world, training, learning, coaching. I mean, I always tell my wife, we're in such a great industry. We're very lucky to have what we have. The fact of the matter is, when I dealt with sales organizations and I used to do sales training, I hated it. I absolutely hated it because people didn't want to role play and practice. And I go, well, then how do you get better? Well, I've been doing this a long time. Tenure does not equal application. Tenure can give somebody a false sense of accomplishment. Industries change, people change, markets change, products change, customers' buying drivers change. And if we don't change with that and practice to show up our best selves, we're never, ever going to create that success that we could. So when you think about the concept of PAL, practice, got to practice, application, where do they need to apply it? And then let's talk about what we've learned from both. So when we look in the mirror and we say, are we continually improving? We can honestly answer it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagan and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21 day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.